night. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Basically gonna go through. I'm gonna build some stuff live. Basically what I've been working on. I've been working on a website. Let me share the screen here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Um, all right. So what I've been working on this thing called V4. V4 is basically going to be this updated site structure. It's going to do a lot of really cool things. If you're a real estate agent and you're interested in basically being able to build a scalable website that has you set up for, um, everything that's going on right now, SEO, AEO, all this kind of stuff everybody keeps talking about. These sites that we're building are going to give you those capabilities. So I'm going to go through, I'm just going to build some stuff out live. We'll take a look at what I've been working on and we'll go from there. So let me flip screens and let me switch over to this other one here. And basically, what I've been doing, I've been building out a new way to set up the sites. And what this is going to allow agents the ability to do is go in and just quickly and easily be able to set up different things like team members, as an example. So if you want to add a brand new team member to your site, all you have to do is hit the add team member button. And once you choose the add team member, it'll basically just walk you through all the steps right here on the screen. Everything from what the team member's name is, if they're an agent, a broker, a lender, whatever their role is within the organization, or how they're related to you as maybe like the broker owner and things like that. So basically, you can go through, you can set all this up. You can put a booking link in here, a video. So if you have like a bio video that kind of tells people, hey, this is who I am, this is how I help out, all of that can be set up right through here. So it's really, really easy. All your social feeds. So if you're going to do things like, your Facebook profile, TikTok profile, Instagram profile, things like that, you can just easily set those things up right within this here. Just makes it really, really simple, really, really easy for you to be able to do. So I'm really excited about that. I think this is going to be a great addition to some of the awesome stuff that we've already been doing inside of the websites. But this is just going to give users a much easier way to be able to do this stuff. And the really cool thing is you don't really have to touch the front end website. So as far as like being a website designer or anything like that, you don't have to do much of that, right? So that's what's going to be really, really cool about this. And then over here in the right, if you see where this is, you can go inside of here and you can actually just kind of say, hey, this is an agent or this is a broker. It'll automatically throw them into the right spot on the front end of the website. So again, that's what I've been working on, which is basically just a rebuild to the way that we deliver these websites, specifically for real estate agents. So this is an example of what the front end of one of these sites look like. And what I'm going to do over the next few minutes, we'll see how long it takes. I'm really going to sit back and just work through some stuff related to schools. So what users will be able to do on their website, and let me share this screen. This is an example of what one of the sites look like, the front end website, right? So it's really easy to customize this stuff today, but the changes that we're making are going to make it to where so much of this just happens automatically by just filling out a few pieces of information in the back end. So let me switch over here. Let me get back to the kind of admin area and we'll take a look at kind of where I left off and what I had been working on. So inside of this thing called ACF, it's Advanced Custom Fields is the name of what it is, but it basically allows you to go in and extend the fields inside of your system, right? Inside of the website here. And what I've been working on right now is everything related to schools. So if we go over here to schools, I'm going to show you this right here. We can click into this schools thing. And I've basically gone in, I've set up, it's called a custom post type, but basically something called schools. And you can see it in the menu over here on the left-hand side. And what's cool about this is it allows you to basically add a new school to your website and then tell the website exactly where this fits with all the rest of the communities that you serve. Again, this whole thing, we service real estate agents in the real estate market, and so yeah, that's what we're doing with this. And what this allows you to do is put those schools in. So all the high schools, elementary schools, grade schools that are in the community, it allows you to then have a lot of SEO traffic back to those different schools for people that are looking for that. And as we know, as real estate agents, schools for families is one of the most important things, right? These different school districts. So, where I left off and what I had been working on is this thing called field groups. So, if you're just joining the call, basically what I'm doing here is just building out these websites. The structure of the website, version 4 is what we're calling it, and just building it out live on a call. It helps keep me accountable to doing it, and it allows anybody out there that's kind of messing around in these circles of real estate websites, IDX websites, if you're a real estate agent, all that kind of stuff. It just allows you to kind of, see a different approach of how these things are done. So, anyways, I'm going to hit this thing up here. This is called school fields. And basically, inside of the school fields, this defines everything that all the different like fields that you would want to show on the front end website. So, there's a couple changes that I'm going to make to this, which is basically the ability to add tabs. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to mess with some of it, and then I'll show you what it looks like underneath the schools area as soon as I add a little bit of this. So you can add these fields and you can do something called a tab. I'm going to go find the tab here. It's right there. So we can add a new tab. What I'm going to do, I've got a thing here that I'm working off of for this. I'm going to add school info as a new field. And then I'll go ahead and close this out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to move this school info up to the top here. And then underneath school info, we're going to add the school logo, which we've got right here. We're going to add the school rating, and then we'll also add the school district. So we've got these three things. Grade level, I'm going to get rid of this right now. It's kind of redundant. I got it somewhere else, so we'll just get rid of that. And then we'll add contact and boundaries. So I'm going to add another field. We'll make it a tab as well. And then we'll go contact and boundaries. All right, I'm going to close this one up. Actually change this to, well, we'll leave it. We'll leave it like that. We move this one up above the official website. And I'm going to show you what all this looks like in just a second. It'll start making a lot more sense. So we've got the official website. I'm going to move the contact phone number, probably the principal name, street address, and then school boundary. We'll leave those. And then we have performance metrics. So we'll do quick stats. We add one more of these here. All right, cool. All right, quick stats, close that up. And underneath quick stats, there will only be one thing right now called quick stats. And then we'll have something called connections. That's going to be the last one here. All right, sweet. We got all of these built. I'm going to go ahead and move that underneath there. All right, let me save the changes. I'll go show you what this looks like. And we'll probably make a few more additional small changes inside of this when we get out to the other screen. So basically, what we're going to do here, we're going to go to schools and we're going to click add a new school. And so everything that we were just looking at, the tabs that we just installed, that's everything we're seeing right here at the top of the screen now. So now we've got contact boundaries, we've got the quick stats, and we have connections. All of this is built by what we just did a second ago. So whenever we want to add a brand new school, we can type the name of the school in here. So I'm going to just call it demo school. And we'll be able to add the logo of the school. we'll be able to give it a rating. We'll be able to say what school district it is in, and then we'll be able to do all of the contact and boundaries. So what's the official website, where is it located, and then the quick stats. So quick stats are things like how many students are there per teacher, stuff like that. And the last thing is our connections. So what's really cool is as we're building communities out, we're able to actually connect those communities to the school districts and the schools that are within those. So when somebody's searching and they're on your website and they're looking inside of a certain school district, they can then see all of the properties that are available, and they can see all of the different communities that service that area. So it's pretty cool. This is gonna make these websites really, really easy for the end user, for the agent, to be able to go in and load some of this stuff in. Now, here's where it gets really, really neat. Inside of here, I'm gonna go set this up right now. I'm gonna check a couple things while we're on here really quick. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything over here. All right. All right, cool. All right. Here's what I want to do. What's really nice about this, if you're into SEO, what's really cool about adding these custom post types is every time you add a custom post type, it creates a new sitemap. And that sitemap can then be indexed by Google and Bing and all these different things. It can even be indexed by different AIs, right? So Gemini, Perplexity, Gronk, all of them, ChatGPT, Claude, everything that you hear, they can go through and they can go through these different sitemaps, and they can use these sitemaps to kind of push them in the right direction. So it's pretty neat. I'm going to go show you what that all looks like right now. So let me leave out of here, and I'm going to head back over to post types. And so when we add one of these post types like schools, I'm going to go back to schools. We can then go inside of what's called rank math, which we use. And I'm going to go to the dashboard inside of rank math. And inside of here, we also have something called sitemap settings. All right. And you can see schools is one of these sitemap settings. So it'll give us that sitemap for that school. But it also lets you do this taxonomy with the school types, and you can include them in the sitemap as well. So I'm going to go back here, and what I want to do is I actually want to go to titles and meta. And I'm going to fill some of this information out. And the information I'm going to fill out is basically how it's going to default on your website. So as we deploy these websites onto people's accounts, real estate agent accounts, all this will happen automatically. So they won't need to do anything here. I'm going to take a quick screenshot of this. And then what I like to do is I like to run this through Gemini. And I have Gemini help me serve up the best information for it, because who better than Google to help you make sure that you are throwing in the right titles and descriptions. All right, cool. Let me get this together, and then I'll go ahead and fill some of this out. All right, sweet. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to switch out the title. Currently, we have this title right here. We're going to switch it out for this title, and it'll have ratings and home sales. So we'll have that homes for sale. We're going to go to the single school description that we've got here, and we'll swap this one out as well. And so now it'll dynamically pull all this custom field school district stuff into it. So the school district field that we've got, it'll dynamically populate inside of this. So it's just going to make it so much better for SEO. We'll do this school archive post. We'll switch that out, and then we'll do the same thing here. All right. I'm going to make sure that all the schema and everything is correct. We'll make sure that all this is good down here. Yeah. All those custom fields. All right, cool. Want to make sure we have those. Okay, we do. All right, sweet. I'm gonna hit save to that. Again, we're configuring all of this for the client, so the client doesn't have to touch any of it. And all they have to do is go in and put the name of the school and all of that in, and it'll just show up correctly. When they share it out to social media, it'll pull the right title. When Google's going through it and they're indexing it, it'll look at the right title. All of that is just going to happen automatically for the client. So, really excited about that piece. All right, what else? All right, so that is most of the stuff around schools. I'm gonna go double check everything really quick though. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything as we went through here. And I've set up a couple more of these, like points of interest is a really important one. So it's going to be a way for agents to highlight different landmarks and popular dining restaurants and things like that. And they're going to be able to connect them directly back to their communities on their website. So what's really neat about that is as the agents putting their different, as the real estate agents putting the different communities into their website, they can connect these points of interest in these school districts and even the team members that service those different communities. So it just makes it to where on the back end of this, all the user has to do is input a few pieces of information, and on the front end everything automatically just scales up. And what's really cool about it is you can tie this into a spreadsheet, and you can tie it even into AI and have it build out all the content on the website for you. So it's really, really neat where we're headed with this and the things that are available through our API to be able to just kind of scale out the website and even do things automatic once a week, once a month, have it go in and switch all of the, body copy on a certain community or all of the communities, so you can keep feeding Google with up-to-date information. All right, I'm gonna go here. Just want to check a couple other things. School types. Let's see, make sure we have all this set correctly. All right, I think we're good here. All right, cool. All right, what else? All right, I think we got everything done with schools. If anybody out there has any recommendations on like a website that they think does a really good job, a real estate website, because that's what we're building here, that does a really good job with school districts, let me know. I'd love to take a look at it and see if there's anything that we can draw some inspiration from there. All right, the other thing I'm going to go look at is condo buildings. So let me jump over here and take a quick look at this. And inside of condo buildings, I'm going to go double check how this is set up. All right. All right, let me run this. I'm going to run this through Gemini really quick and get some feedback on the configuration of this, make sure I'm not missing anything. And why condo buildings is separate from communities is that condo buildings are going to have some different things about them. They're going to have things like how many units are in it, how many different floor plans there might be. There's going to be things around homeowners association, most likely, all that kind of stuff. So condo buildings need to be their own separate little deal outside of just communities. So that's why we separate the two of them and keep them as two different things there. All right, I'm going to double check all of these settings really quick. Let me go to the description. All right, switch that out. All right, there's some stuff here. I'm just going to make sure that we currently have. I keep these enabled. I usually disable these. Make sure comments are off. Page posts. Okay, I think we're good there. All right, sweet. All right, let me save this. All right, cool. So, taxonomy. This is no taxonomy for condos. Let's see, not rely on fields. You should strongly consider this. Okay. Let me go double check. Okay. URL structure. Sure, we got all this. Okay. All right, let me go do these field groups. So taxonomies, let me go to field groups. All right, so these are going to be all the building fields. We're going to load some of these in. Basically what we're saying is we're saying anytime somebody lands on a post that's called condo building, we want to show these fields on the page. So that's what I'm going to go through and do right now is I'm going to build out all the field groups for these. All right. And grab a quick snapshot of this. All right, sweet. All right, let me check. Let me check this. Okay. All right. I don't think I have the ability when I'm on live here to do a split screen to show you guys everything that is on this, but I'm going to go through and build it out right now. And let me know if I'm missing anything when it comes to condo buildings. I don't know how many out there who are even watching this are licensed in real estate or even in real estate related services or anything. So if you are a real estate agent, maybe give me some feedback on any of the things that I might be missing. So I'm going to create a new tab called building info. And inside of this, we're going to do a couple different things here. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to add a field, and it's going to be an image. And the image field is actually going to be the building logo or the sign, right? So we're going to call it a condo logo. Just get this out of there and call the field name a condo logo. And then the field type is actually going to be an image. So we're going to go image ID, and then we'll close that field up. I want to make sure we don't need any of this. All right, presentation, conditional logic. All right, cool. All right, sweet. So, something else that we want to have is definitely the year it was built. So that's going to be a big thing. Like, when was this condo building built? And that's going to be a number. So we're going to put year built in here. And the reason I'm naming all these fields with the prefix of condo is if you're going to use the API, we have an API to build these website pages out. You can then make sure that you're targeting the right fields and then fill everything out automatically. So if you're a developer and you want to build one of these websites out on the back of our technology, it makes it really, really easy for you to be able to do that because our system gives you an API. So I'm going to go total stories here. We'll call this condo stories. I know I'm moving a little bit fast, but I just want to make sure that I get through the rest of this tonight. So total number of units. So there's going to be X amount of units inside of the condo building. We want to make sure that we capture that. And then we'll call it condo total units. Let's see what else we got. And then we want to know whether or not pets are allowed. So can you have pets inside of this condo building? And we're going to make that a select. And we'll call it condo pets allowed. I want to get the field options for this. So give me 1 second here. I'm going to take a quick screenshot of this. So let's see here. I don't know if it shows me. I'm streaming out to a couple different places. I don't think it shows me a user count. It shows me a couple people watching over here. TikTok says 76. Let's go, people. A bunch of random people watching me do random stuff. It's pretty cool. Plain text. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We'll give it these choices. I'm gonna start with those choices. We may come back and switch those out later. All right, let me see here. Left to right. Okay. Save that field. All right, let me go back. There's some other stuff that we're going to put in here. So we're going to put another tab inside of here. And we'll add a new tab. And I'll show you what the tabs look like. I showed it earlier, but I'll show you what the tabs look like once we get through this one here. So one thing that you would want to know is you would want to know where it's located, right? So we want to make sure we use text area, but I'm going to call it a street address, and that'll be the condo address. So we want to make sure we have that in there. We want to have the HOA frequency. So like how often is the HOA fee? And all right, okay. Make sure that we have this right. Field type is going to be select. I'm going to put the HOA frequency in here. And we're actually going to make it a 50% width. And we're going to give it some choices. These will be the choices that we give it. Oh, back some of these out here. All right. Monthly, quarterly, annually, and we want it to only be 50% of the width. So there's this presentation thing. Basically, tells you how much room it's going to take up on the screen when you're inputting all the information. So I'm going to go back up here to street address really quick. And I think I want to actually go up to the pet allowed one. And I want to switch this out. Go here. Okay. I'll come back to that once we get a little bit further. I do want to make sure we have some of this other stuff in here correctly, though. All right. Make this 50%. All right. Total number of units 50 and pets allowed. I'm going to make sure this is 50 as well. All right, there we go. All right, cool. Let's move to the next section here. For anybody just joining in, we're building out a real estate website. So basically, we've been selling these real estate websites. I'm going to jump over here. I'll show you what one of them looks like really quick. But we've been building these real estate websites for a while now, and we've been selling them. We've been to market since the end of last year. So we're basically closing in on about 9 months that we've been selling these websites. We also have a CRM. So there's a back end that powers all this. And it's an IDX website. So it's built for real estate agents. If you're watching this, you might be a real estate agent. You can reach out to us. We can have a conversation, see whether or not it's a good fit for your business. The product does a lot of really, really cool things. And what we're doing right now and what this whole, live video series is about is us just going through and building out a deeper architecture for the front end websites. Something that just makes it super easy to scale the websites up. Something that makes it really, really SEO friendly, AEO, GEO, like all the EOs out there. And we just want to make it to where the real estate agent can go in, they can fill out a few pieces of information, and they can add agents to their website. They can add communities to their website. They can add points of interest to their website. Those are the type of things that we want to just make it really, really simple and really easy for people to be able to do. And so that's what this whole thing's about, is us building out a new architecture that we will basically deploy out to all of the different websites that are on our network, and users will be able to take advantage of it. So if you're a client of ours and you're using this now, as we roll this out, you'll get access to a lot of these features. So let me go here. Let me add a new tab. Let me drop this field in. So this is going to be connections. I think what I want to do is I want to keep the IDX separate. So I think I'm going to keep inventory away from here, and I'm just going to call it collections. And I'm only going to put the parent condo community underneath it, the parent community that it's a part of. So what's really cool about this is you can do something called a relationship. And what a relationship allows you to do is choose, I'm going to do condo parent community. but it allows you to choose based on a certain post type, and you can do community. So this allows us to have the agent tell the system exactly what community this condo is a part of. So I'm in Florida and I'm in Clearwater area, and there's a condo building. I'm just going to name a random one. There's a condo building called Dan's Island. And Dan's Island is on Sand Key, which is part of Clearwater Beach. And what this allows people to do is basically say, hey, this condo building is on Clearwater Beach or it's on Sand Key. And then on the front end website, it knows exactly where to go put this. It knows what menu to go put it in. When users are going through the website, looking at things on the website, it knows exactly what to show to them and where. So that's what's really cool about all of this. It just makes it super easy and super scalable. So I want to do the post type being communities, and the format needs to be a post object. So we need to make sure we got that right. So tower in the macro neighborhood. All right, cool. Post type. All right, I'm going to save these changes. Something else I'm going to do. I need to open up a new tab here. So give me just a second. I need to go, where is it at? I need to open up this. I'm going to go over here to the communities, and I just want to take a look at what I did over here. The IDX. I want to make sure that I mimic it the same way on this side of things. So we're going to add a field here. We'll make it a tab. Close that. All right, cool. We use these collection IDs inside of our system. So the collection ID basically tells the page exactly what properties to show. It's really easy to create one of these collections inside of our CRM. So hopefully you can see the CRM on this side. So inside the CRM, we have this thing called listings. And when you click on listings, it'll load all of the listings that are connected to the website. And inside of here, you can use this thing called filters to filter this down. So I could say city town contains Clearwater as an example. And then when I apply the filter, it'll show me all of the listings available inside of Clearwater, right? And if I save this, I can save it as a collection. And I'll show you, I've got a few collections that we've already created inside of here. So if I go to something like Clearwater, Florida, I have this collection ID number, and there's a collection ID number that you can then drop right into this field here, and it'll show the proper listings on the front end of the website. So when you're over here and a consumer goes to the website and they're clicking on something, like one of these areas here, I don't have any of these built out on this demo site, but if they were to click on one of these areas, and you can just imagine this being a local area in your market, as soon as they click on this, they're going to land on a page on your website. And if you connect the correct collection ID number, then it'll just show them the exact listings on the website that that you want to display to them. So it makes it super easy to make that happen. All right, I'm going to save these changes now. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to condo buildings, and I'm going to click this add new condo building button, and it'll open up this screen. Let me go back. I need to make sure. I think I need to change the setting on this. I do. All right, let me go do that. It's going to be inside of post types. Condo building. Let me make sure I got the rest of these added. I think there's one more thing we need to go add. All right, let's see. Let's go to field groups. Let's go to condo buildings. All right, I want to add one more thing. There's going to be times where users are going to, like real estate agents are going to want to put different highlights for a building, like quick stats. And that's what I'm going to end up installing right now is the ability to do that. So if I go here and we add, it's called a repeater, but it allows you to enter the same information multiple times. There's going to be like quick stats about the condo. So we'll add a couple fields here. And the first one's going to be a text field. We're going to give it the label of a stat value. And then we're going to give it a placeholder. And go ahead and get the placeholder text here. It can be something like, 24/7 or 650 or waterfront. And then we're going to make this stat only 30% of the width. I'll come back and add the instructions here in a moment. All right, and then we're going to have a stat label. Let me add that. All right, validation. So if the one was 30%, we're going to make that one 70%. We'll close that out. All right, cool. Now the only other thing I want to do, I want to move the IDX info down to the bottom and save these changes. All right, let me go find. Let me go find this. ACF post types. Condo building. All right, let me make sure that's off. Let me save this. We got a 136 in here. Hit me with some follows or something. Let's get something going. That'd be sweet. Let me see here. ACF, condo buildings, move down to the settings box. Let me go here. I want to check one more thing out. This will probably be the last thing I do on this call, though. Okay. All right, save. All right, I think I got all this built out. So now basically if somebody wants to add a new condo building, they can come over here, they can click add condo, and everything we just built out together on the call for the condo building, they can add it right here. So now they've got the building info. We added all these tabs together just a few moments ago when we were going in and building everything. So now you can put in the logo, you can put in the year it was built, how many stories, whether or not it allows pets, and how many number of units there are. Same thing with location. You can add the street address, the HOA fee. You can do the connections of the communities, building highlights, so different stats and labels, so you can add different rows. And then, you could say, for instance, like 24/7 and then security. And then you can add another row. You can do the same thing. So for the example, they've got like 650 average HOA fee, things like that, right? You can put all these statistics in here. And then the last thing is the IDX. So I showed this earlier, but inside of our CRM, you can narrow this down, and you can even narrow it down by different buildings. So I can do like building name. So we have all of this here, like the community name. So I'm going to hit building name, and I'm going to say contains Dan, because earlier we were talking about Dan's Island, but I need to take Clearwater off because it's actually Clearwater Beach. So let me do this, and let me see if we can. I need to go here to all listings, clear filters. Okay. Let me see if I can do community building name contains Dan's. All right. I might be on the wrong field here. All right. Let me just go city. All right, cool. So if I hit that, we'll get all the Clearwater Beach listings. And then if we wanted to, we could then show those on this page with the collection ID number. All right, cool. I think that's it for tonight. I'll be back on again tomorrow. And what I'm going to end up doing, I'm going to take a look through, make sure that there's not any other site structure stuff I need to do in the back end here. And then I'm going to start building out the front end pages. So it'll be a lot more design related stuff. So hit the follow button if you want to, tag along for this, this whole experience. So thanks everybody for hanging out with me. Everybody have a great evening. Stop that. 8. Stop this guy over here.